Well, I'm going to call attention to this Friends of David Goldberg video again. He's put out another one here about why preppers won't survive the collapse. Now, first off, I've been in tune with a lot of what he's been saying, and maybe for various other reasons. For one is, I talked about 2046, the sun nova, the tsunamis, ice age, which is one reason I possibly think they have these deep underground bases. It's not for like a nuclear apocalypse or whatever, something like that. It could be something geological, as even Edgar Casey predicts. And we don't know what year it's going to be for. But the other thing is, I also put out about, over the years, I put out, you can see this was back in 2016. This was Deagle's 2025 U.S. population forecast, and they're talking about economic collapse. I also warned many times about the U.S. debt situation. Despite what it looks like on the outside, the unemployment rate is this, the GDP is this. A lot of the GDP is actually in fluff industries. Some social services people could be making a lot of money or whatever, fine, but it's not really. Back in the day, that wouldn't have been counted as a GDP. It would have been a volunteer woman helping children, and they wouldn't be getting paid, right? So it's like, you know what I mean? It's sort of like a lot of things aren't actually in the nuts and bolts, bricks and mortar type GDP. Is pretty piss poor in the United States, and that's really the stuff you need to survive. Agriculture and building, things that you really need, hard goods. Now, this was also, I did an address the millennials, so I'm aware a lot of what he's saying. Now I'm 65 years old, so I've been around. Another thing is, I've also, well before the internet's been around, I've read on paper books. I knew all about, like for instance, even back in 1992, all the stuff they said about the Clintons. I knew about them, but I also knew about the Bushes. I knew Reagan wasn't always cracked up to be. But actually, when I first started putting out videos about Trump, I was criticizing him, but I was kind of leaning not doing that too much because I wanted the crazy lady to lose. But I'm very much aware that Trump is a total BS artist and he's in the loop with them. This is something Friends of David Goldberg saying. Also want to point out, I know he's talking about the guns. He's talking. Friends of David Goldberg's talking about the guns will be useless pretty much. I'm going to disagree with that because, yeah, I know they got high-tech weapons. So you know what? They had high-tech weapons even in World War II. They had P-51 Mustang fighter jets, freaking cannons or artillery on ships that could blow up a city block. They had B-52 bombers. They had crew-served weapons. They had flamethrowers. What your gun going to do against a flamethrower? So, you know what I mean? I know the technology is exponentially higher, but they are trying to grab your guns because they don't want you to have them, because they can be useful to you. And there's always there's always targets of opportunity, support personnel, and actually the Achilles heel of high tech, there's always something out there, right? So that's bull crap right there. But one thing I picked up on, I was being very careful what he was saying for numbers. He was saying that they were going to take down into the deep underground military bases. He was saying between 9 and 10 million, 10 and 12 million, 12 and 15 million. So I don't know, maybe 9 to 15 million. So I made a remark on a former video that not many people watching this video compared to the ones he's putting out, but still, I made a remark that, okay, say they take 9 million, right? Well, that means you're going to have, if you put 10 people in a van, that's 1 million van trips. You think nobody's going to notice that? Right there. On top of that, it's like you could use the AI to make somebody look like they're still around online, but yeah, they physically go to work. They belong to community activities. They got neighbors. They got family that they see in person. There's a lot of physical interaction going on. People would notice it pretty quick. But 1 million van trips going to underground would mean that somebody would notice where they're going too. Where the entry points are. Now, he actually said, he changed this on his video. He said it was going to be 500,000 or something. Well, if just the leaders, the top people, because I said that. So I'm thinking this guy's freaking paying attention to what the hell I'm saying. But the thing is, I don't even think, you tell you the truth, I got a demon sense all the way. And I'm going to tell you a couple things. First off, if you even want to knock out the leadership, you probably could do way under 50,000, maybe 5,000 disappear, for crying out loud. And that would make it effectively leaderless. And then you put disinformation agents out there and like AJ and stuff like that. And there's your leadership. Now, I also disagree with the stuff buying online that, yeah, they could track you, they know what you got, but then again, what the hell does that mean? I mean, they got lots of information, but the problem is they don't even know what the hell it means. Now, here's another thing. The guy that's informing him could be a disinformation agent too. That's a possibility. The other thing is he doesn't know the whole plan. That's another thing. Another thing is this, and I'm not trying to give you a pie in the sky freaking thing, everything's going to be fine, because it's not. I already know those Deagle predictions are going to happen. I already know they're going to happen. Do I want to be up in Tennessee? Do I want to be in Florida? I don't know. I don't want to freeze my ass off up in Tennessee either, too. I mean, it's more remote, but it's cold. And the thing is, the people that he's saying, like, the guy that giving the predictions, right? The military guy that's giving the predictions to this guy, he doesn't know everything, for one. And number two, even if you know certain information, I was in the military a while, not a real long time, 13 years, right? So it's like, I already know this, that it's just, everybody knows this, though. People that get this inside information and they know it's locked on, how many times did that stuff not happen the way it was supposed to happen, or what they thought was going to happen for sure? It didn't happen. Even when it was planned, guaranteed, surefire, and it didn't happen that way. Now, I do know there's evil people out there that want to control the world, and they want this total ownership. They've been around forever, right? And we might just go back to prehistoric times if this 2046 prediction happens again, despite them having military, deep underground bases. But I'm not buying into everything this guy's saying. I know you should not ignore it. I've been telling you about the Deagle.com predictions are not BS. I've been telling you Trump is totally compromised. I know he told me he was horrified when he found out about Epstein and he ran away from him. And yeah, right. Every one of these little memes they put out about Trump, like Trump is stamping out this, that's a crock of crap. The guy had a bone spur. Remember that? Mr. Bone Spur wouldn't go to Vietnam. Now, I don't disagree with him not going to Vietnam, but he is not. You know what? You know why I know I could read through him like a freaking open book. Easy. Now, I'm doing YouTube videos. I'm not making any money on it, and I don't have a lot of money or nothing like that. But I'm telling you, I have worked for the freaking demons. And the thing is, I'm more of a demon than they are. That's why they made exponentially more money when I was doing their accounting, quote unquote, which is a little bit more than accounting. Oh, you know what? I'm going to tell you, I'm not a Christian. This guy supposedly is a Christian. I'm not a Christian. I like the story with Jesus. I like the code of ethics. And, when I look at the story of Jesus, when I look at it like this, who really killed him? I know some people say the Jews, some people say the Romans. I say it was law enforcement. Who carried out the orders? This is another reason, don't trust anybody in a freaking uniform. Back in the day in 1776, they didn't wear uniforms. They had their clothes on their back. The Confederates had their clothes on their back. They're fighting for themselves. They were true patriots. People get paid aren't true patriots. You're lucky if you get anybody in law enforcement in the military today that says they adhere to the Constitution. You know what? There was no Constitution. How do you think the Constitution was created? So I got no respect for him. Well, I got respect for him as an individual. Maybe, depending on who they are. But as an organization, I don't trust police, military, none of that. Today, they're just stooges, dumb stooges of the elite. And I'll tell you one thing, one observation I make for anybody that works for the government. If they were smart, they'd be having their own business. If you have intelligence, aggressiveness, motivation, vision, drive to freaking keep things going, you're going to persevere against all odds, try to open your own business. You work for the government, you're already telling me you're a loser. So that's why, and most of these people, they'll like, oh, the public's got to freaking change the policy. We can't, that's the fallback excuse on all the cops in the military. Now, one thing he did point out is that he doesn't want a Mad Max. The elite don't want a Mad Max situation. Well, that's fine. Thanks for telling me that. That's what you want to do, Dan. Oh, by the way, you look at my browser up here. We'll stop supporting this browser soon. I'm still using XP on couple of my computers. I don't know if I'm going to update my browser or not. Was YouTube going to break? I don't really give a crap, man. This stuff with all this updating garbage. I got some other stuff that secures this thing, but nothing secured anyway. You update it, you get pure spyware with Windows 10 or something, right? What the hell? Bunch of garbage. But yeah, I do have a demonic sense about what could possibly happen. It's like, I lean Jewish, but then, no, I'm not really Jewish. I'm like, the code they live by, the Torah, makes more sense to me. Fine, but they got leaders up there, and they got extremists in that group too, in the same group. I mean, they got extremists in every group, and I don't like any extremist in any group. Period. Whether it's Christian, Jewish, Muslim, or whatever, Hindu, whatever, Confucian. You got extremists. I don't. How do you define extremists? Well, when they're trying to freaking push their crap on you and they want to make you do something one way or the other. Like, I look at it like this. I mean, I'm definitely going to. I don't even think Jesus was the Messiah. I mean, I agree with all the Jewish thinking on that. And I don't knock Jesus because I think he taught a lot of good things. You should listen to all the red words. And, but I don't, I'm definitely not going to try to convert any Jews over to Christian. No way. But then again, I mean, Jews shouldn't be mad at Christians if they want to put up crosses or something to celebrate Christmas. And, just let people do what the hell they want to do. That's what this stupid country's supposed to be about. And that's why I'm kind of getting aggravated at some of the crap that's coming out of the extreme element of Israel that's trying to freaking screw us up over here, because I don't like that. I don't like that. And of course, Susan's probably involved in that too, because YouTube's turned into a big, restrictive bunch of garbage. They took my, they got me. I used to get over 20,000 views a day. I'm down to like 4,000 or maybe even less than that. I used to get about 1,200 subscribers a month. That's what I was getting. Okay, now I'm getting about 75. See, that's what they did to me, and it's not because of content. It's because they're pushing my crap out the window. But whatever. I look at it like this. If this freaking tsunami comes and hits California coast and they all sink in the ocean, I don't really give a crap. This was a good video I put out that it was about. I gave you the link to the other guy, and here's a link. I put it over here someplace. Yeah, there it is. I pinned it. The catastrophe of 12,000 years ago that erased history. Every 12,000, 68 years, we got this solar burst, right? And wipes out everything. That's one thing I'm going to tell you. I don't think this electronic grid crap is going to work. Like, in other words, they might have planned electronic freaking grid outages to control the population or something. Well, there's going to be one from nature, because we're at least going into the mini solar ice age, or you want to call that, like the Maunder minimum. And during that time, this is when you have the solar burst, which will destroy all the computers, including this crappy XP computer. Maybe this XP computer's got older chips in it, might hold up better than freaking some of the new crap. Who knows? But then nothing's going to work. Satellites ain't going to work. The microchips aren't going to work. And somebody's going to say, God did that. It's like, no, he didn't. Nature did it, you dummy. Now, I do believe in God. I know there's like, our physical existence is really like energy. Everything everything is energy. It is. It's like all the atoms are energy. If you take all the space away between all the atoms that even comprise the entire human race on this earth, all that would fit in the size of a thimble. So, like, everything we see is almost like an illusion. It almost is. There's other things that are way beyond this that we don't understand. It's maybe a scientific way of looking at it, but it dovetails completely into the religious way of looking at things. So I'm not an atheist, no way in hell. But I'm telling you that, a lot of people are stupid that get into this religion stuff too much. And it's another good video. Disobedience can be a virtue. I wonder what I've said on that, but that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons they put Trump in. So you keep obeying like a bunch of morons and trusting this guy, because he's saying some nice things and doing some nice things, but he ain't doing enough to freaking really make a difference in a real manner. And that's really one of the things that Friends of David Goldberg is saying that's absolutely correct. I never trusted Trump from day one, and they'll always voted for him. I recognize him as a bullshit artist. So there's a lot of stuff about Friends of David Goldberg that is absolutely correct that I was on before. I know there's going to be an economic collapse. because of the U.S. debt clock. We're already we're almost at the 24 trillion point of no return. That's absolutely correct. Um, I think this military insider's giving them good information, but he might not know everything. And even though he knows even if he does know everything, what they think they know might not play out the way it's going to happen. The other thing is, since there's one guy giving information on the inside, there's more people. There's a lot of people that are probably running the operation that are playing like they're going along with it, and they're not. So that could be a monkey wrench in the works still. The other thing is him getting out and going to South America. I don't see how that makes him safe because they know where he is. They know. Get the hell out of here, man. I don't give a crap. I think they know where he is. I think that's bullcrap. I mean, if you try to run away, they still know where you're at. I mean, I guess they found Bin Laden in a cave right after 2001. They knew where he was. They blew him up. I know later they were still searching for him many years, and they know where he was. You're not gonna. The thing is, if you're that important, the thing is, if you're not important, maybe not give a crap. Why bother? But maybe just, it's almost like stepping on ants or something. That's what we are compared to these guys. Some of us are going to be able to scurry under some board that he can't get us or something. I don't know. But I don't think, and the other side of it is this. I wonder about what Vladimir Putin. I'm going to put this video up on my American-Russian Survival channel too. I wonder about Vladimir Putin because I know Vladimir Putin is basically in with the elite. He's in with the financial side of things. He's got a trading company based in Switzerland that is registered in Cyprus for tax purposes. The guy's probably got like $50 billion. He's loaded. I know, but he's a real patriot. He actually is a real Russian patriot. I know Trump has got a patriotic streak up to a point. Vlad is way more patriotic for Russia, which doesn't do us too much good over here in America, than Trump is for America. Although Trump at least has some patriotism, and he's 1,000 times better than Hillary. But the thing is, when Trump does something and it's bad, you don't suspect it as much. If Hillary did it, you'd be jumping all over and you would stop it. That's the danger of Trump. That you trust him. Now, do I trust Putin? No. What are you kidding me? I don't trust anybody. But the thing is, I can tell you right now, this guy, you don't want to cross him. You don't want to try to get in his power, grab any of his power. You don't want to steal any of his money. You don't want to insult him. You don't want to do any of this kind of stuff because he'll probably get mad. But he is 100% for the Russian people. And one thing I picked up on where Putin is different from Trump is that Putin doesn't want that damn 5G over in Russia. Yeah, he wants to control the problem people, but he actually is pro-Russian, this guy. So I wonder how that's going to play out with this whole New World Order thing. And you know what I think is going to happen? And I think this is actually a prediction from Fatima. Russia is going to chastise mankind for its sins. It doesn't say Russia is going to be the bad guy. It doesn't say Russia is going to be the cause of World War III. It says Russia is going to chastise mankind for its sins. Now, if you look at what's going on today in the United States, yeah, it's the whole social fabric is falling apart. Thanks in part with YouTube, of course, and all the crap they're pushing on here. And of course, they're never going to push my channel because I'm not a minority. Although I probably am a minority. I am a minority as far as the global scheme of things going because I'm a white Caucasian, but they hate my guts. I can already see that right now. But as far as, what's happening, we're going to see a push against, America's going to get destroyed because we lost basically our moral culture. This is and that's what I think they mean, when he says at the message at Fatima was, see, that's a Catholic thing, but I think that message was legit, which would mean that Jesus is real. So I'm on the fence if he's actually real or not. I know you should listen to the red words and whatever, but I lean Jewish. I'll just say that the way it is. I lean Jewish, but I'm not blatantly 110% supporting everything. I don't want to freaking support everybody that's Jewish every single time. Now, honestly, I looked up on my lineage. My grandfather, Evangelista, he was the illegitimate son of Duke Albert Edward, and according to Lord Greg Hallett, his real father, the Duke's real father, who later became Edward VII, was Lionel Nathan Rothschild, which would make him my third great grandfather. This might be true because I've always worked for Jewish guys, pretty much. I would get along with them better. They got more brains. But they weren't like, they're more conservative leaning. They're not like Susan Wojcicki. I'm finding out Susan is a yo-yo, including her whole crew around her. But that's why I'm not liking this YouTube anymore. But I got other things I got planned to do, and I'm keeping up on these videos anyway. But I want to put something out here that, you see, when friends of David, whoever this guy is, friends of David Goldberg, is making these videos, he's preaching to the choir about a lot of stuff that I already know. I already know about the Deagle predictions, which is something separate from friends of David Goldberg. I was putting out videos about it because I think it's real. I could see why it's real, because we got the same kind of economic conditions and climate that happened before the collapse of the Soviet Union. We're in debt up to the eyeballs. All the Western nations are, and it's by design. I've also talked about this 2046 thing, which I think has something to do with why they have all these deep underground bases. I also put videos out about Phil Snyder. So, you know, I don't like delve into dramas, conspiracy garbage. I'm looking at stuff that is very factual, hardcore. Actually, humanity, I think modern man has been around for 100 to 200,000 years in modern form, and our civilization has been destroyed on a regular basis about every 12,000 years, which goes along right with that sun nova theory. And it's not a mini nova, according to what was his name, Doug Voigt. Just kind of think of it. I don't rehearse these videos when I'm doing this. I don't read any notes or nothing, but I'm doing all from memory. But I got a pretty good memory. But Doug Voigt, we talked about this 12,000 year cycle, 12,068 year cycle. It's not a mini nova. It's going to wipe out a lot of stuff, man. That's one reason I definitely want to be out of Florida before this happens. Now, if this economic collapse happens during the Trump's administration, I almost guarantee it's going to happen. You know why? It reminds me of Nixon. Remember Nixon? Hey, he won the whole electoral college, just about every state, right? Then all of a sudden he's impeached. Well, okay, they did the impeachment. Stage 2, the economic collapse. Yeah, they're going to get rid of him. That's how they're going to get rid of him. Even though he's not doing everything he needs to be done, he's still doing some things they don't like, and he's talking a certain way where people are getting more hope, which they don't like. They don't like that either. They want you to be hopeless. So, like YouTube, trying to get you remonetized again. Oh, by the way, if I ever get remonetized on this thing, it would be a joke. I'd be lucky if I'd be making $200 a month or something. This thing's ridiculous. But I am praying to the Satan himself, the devil, the same God they pray to wipe them out. I don't care, man. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap about any of these whack jobs out in California. Fallon, Kimmel, Ellen DeGeneres, any of these jerks they freaking push on YouTube or whatever, all that crap. You know, I see this stuff like all the time. Like, they even caught the attention of Jimmy Kimmel, and then they put something on. Like, who gives a crap? I never watch this guy. Sometimes I see a blurb on this jerk. That's why I know his name. But I tell you the truth, the information I'm putting out on my channel is infinitely better than the crap that jerk puts out. He's got a bunch of freaking clapping hyenas making big bucks because it's propaganda. And I really do, to tell you the truth. I could give a crap if it does happen, you know, the 2046 or the economic collapse. Because when this economic collapse happens, it's going to, somebody's got, you know, these Hollywood people, they got 10, 20, $50 million. They're really nothing compared to a lot of people. I mean, I've seen on private placement platforms where these guys had assets of over €1 billion in euros cash, and they're not listed on the Forbes. That's the kind of stuff I was exposed to. There's so much money hidden out there, it's ridiculous. Now, I'm going to go read this guy's blog carefully and see what the hell's going on again, but, you know, I'm not trusting this information all the way. I'm not discounting it. You know, the drone thing, there's stuff on YouTube right now. You can look up where drones like whack people with a shot. You know, they do that. Even so, it's very possible a drone. They're showing that on YouTube, so it's very possible a drone can actually hit you in the face with something that knocks you out or put you in a mental stupor where you just walk outside into a waiting van like this guy's talking about, or anything like that. But you know, I'm going to tell you this: if Trump was really draining the swamp, you think they don't have the technology to screw this guy up in one way or the other? Even a slow, debilitating frequency that would knock him down physiologically very slowly. I mean, they did this to Woodrow Wilson, not with technology, but with other things, after he started figuring out he was being used by Edward Mandell House way back during his presidency. You know, he was the guy that introduced the Federal Reserve and the 16th Amendment. He helped that along. I know it's got to go through the states and stuff, and got us involved in World War I, right? What do you think? Trump be dead meat. I mean, they would do it in a way that you would like, even if they kept him alive, but they made him where he wasn't as sharp as he is right now. They could do that. That's why he is actually part of the crap. There's no doubt about it. That's one dime that this guy's dropping that a lot of people better freaking watch out for. Oh, he does say that, you know, anything you buy with a credit card is tracked. They know what you got and stuff. They got profiles on you. I know. But then again, okay, you got a profile on me. Okay, good, whatever. You know what I mean? I'll still eat my food and shoot my gun at you if you try to kill me. So, I mean, there's, I don't know what the hell I could do. I mean, I'm not Superman, but the thing is, oh, that's another thing I picked up on. I'll also mention millennials prepare 2025 predictions. That's another reason they freaking made the newer generations less resourceful. I don't want to use the word toughness because that's probably a bad word, because everybody's just as weak as they've always been, and you know, humans are pretty fragile when it comes right down to it. But resourcefulness in a lot of different areas to survive, millennials don't have that. I got a lot of that, though. I got a lot of resourcefulness. You can see that through like a lot of my videos and stuff. But you know, if something goes down, these millennials are gonna be really screwed up. But there's always a way around things. A lot of times, you know, like say for instance, you got, I don't know, like, you know, okay, they used to knock the Barrett 50 caliber rifle, like that thing's stupid. But then again, it could take out a complex communication center's equipment, or it could take out you know, the internals of a helicopter or something like that. You see what I mean? See what I mean? That's why guns are actually freaking, they aren't effective against the weapon directly, but it's almost like saying you got a shovel and you got a castle. How's this shovel going to defeat the castle? We could tunnel under it. I mean, it's just a dumb example. You see what I mean? That's how the gun could be important, right? Get it? This guy, he knows this crap, but he is giving you information that you are tracked. But you know what? He's tracked too. I don't give a crap where he is, because I said I think they know where everything is on this earth, man. They got stuff like it's almost ludicrous to think, like, even with mining. I knew this years ago. With mining, they got stuff from satellite. They could tell you exactly where all the gold is. They know where it is already. They already know that. Now, the people I was talking to, you know, I don't have an internet link on it. I was talking face to face with people that were involved in these really high end financial dealings. So, you know, as a matter of fact, you know, I was involved in some stuff that it's not freaking that safe. So I'm not doing it anymore. That's why I'm not doing accounting. I tend to freaking gravitate towards those kind of people, which, you know, that's one reason I started clicking on with that Rothschild thing. I know that it applies to probably freaking 300 people from the same link that I got it from, but somehow I think I got a little more of that in me than other people, because I got this demonic sense about things. And my demonic sense about this guy, I ain't sure. I ain't sure what he's saying here. If he got out of the United States, he's not a disinformation agent. He would not have put this guy that's making these videos, I can say this right off the bat, been friends with David Goldberg. If he got out of the United States and did all that crap to do that, he's not a disinformation agent. He wouldn't have went through all that crap. No way. The guy that's feeding him information, I don't think he's a disinformation agent either. But then again, he probably don't know, or maybe he's being fed bull crap himself. And nobody knows. Nobody. And I tell you this, I do not believe Jesus is going to swoop down and save everybody, because you freaking keep thinking that. That's one of the problems we got. That's why people don't do nothing. And the other thing is, do not trust authorities. Authorities are bad news. The way I'm saying this is because people who go in those jobs in the government, they're too stupid to freaking get a real job. In other words, create their own wealth. Not work for somebody, but actually get out there. I don't care if they get a van and they got a cleaning system and they go out and clean corporate offices. That's a job that you are responsible for. If your van breaks down, your equipment breaks down, you got to fix it. These people, anybody that works for the government, they're freaking. Don't count on them to freaking save the world. They always like to They always like to think that they're doing the right thing. Oh, bull crap, man. They got their check. You're talking the American forces in 1776 weren't even getting paid a lot of times. They were starving. The Confederates were starving. That's why I hate the Confederates too, because they're going against the money powers. And these other guys, today people in government wearing a uniform. Yeah, I know what happens. It's the same people that do the most work. They get tasked with the same work. There's some people in the military that get jammed left and right. I know that. I'm aware of that, including the police. They get jammed left and right. They're the dog that does all the garbage. But for the most part, most of them really aren't doing that much. No, they're not there to save your rights. They're not there to save you. They're a bunch of crap. They're mainly there to serve the power structure, the people with the money. And actually, in the bigger the city, the worse it is. Like in New York City, the cops are nothing but Bloomberg's private army. That's all it is. Now, of course, they got this other dipstick in there, de Blasio, and they hate his guts. But then again, if de Blasio was saying nice things about him, they'd be like dogs on a leash, and they'd do anything that he says. See? I mean, they're not for you. They're not for you. That goes for the military, too. The ones in the military you can probably trust more than anybody are the first and second termers. Don't ever trust a general. I don't give a crap what he says. I mean, they might be good, but the odds are, the longer they're in, the higher up they are, the worse they are. So I got a suspicion as to what information this guy's actually getting is how accurate, but it basically is pretty accurate. But like I said, guns don't work. Yeah, maybe they don't. They don't work in direct frontal approach, but they work obliquely in a lot of different ways. I mean, they never worked. Your lever action 30-30 sure wouldn't take down the P-51 Mustang fighter of the World War II, would it? It's far more sophisticated, but it's got to land someplace, and one little round in that engine would freaking disable it, right? I mean, that's just a dumb example, but that's why they don't want you to have your guns. Buying stuff online, they know you got it, whatever. I mean, yeah, I already got it. What are you going to do? I mean, I don't know, send a drone? Yeah, maybe. But, got to look into that drone stuff. That's just something else we're going to have to figure out, because there's always a way to defeat stuff, pretty much. And, could be with electronics, I don't know. Could be with lasers, and who the hell knows. But the other thing is you can count on is the human element. A lot of these people involved in this New World Order plans to freaking take over the world, they got hooked into it because, nobody goes up to a person and says, yeah, we're taking over the world, and we're going to depopulate everybody. We're going to enslave the rest, and we need to hire you to do this. You think they tell them like that in the beginning? No. They bring them in, they have them do some task, and they test them a little bit at a time. And then once people figure out what's going on, they take one approach or they take the other approach. They either get the hell away from it or they go into it more and more. But there's a lot of people that basically know some kind of information about this. And there's a lot of people maybe that are inside that are torn, that are part of the apparatus, that are torn inside their head as to what they really want to do. That's where they're going to have a problem. Because it ain't going to take too many people on the inside to throw a real monkey wrench into something. So you got a highly complex piece of machinery. Think of it that way. You get this big apparatus that's taking over the world. Like they think of it as a big complex machine apparatus of machinery, and somebody decides to throw something in there that gums it up. Well, you're gonna have just like these got this insider telling them what to do. There's other insiders out there that could screw this crap up, but I wouldn't rely on that. This guy's telling you the truth, man. But you know what? Your preps don't do nothing. I'm going to tell you right now. If you don't prep, you're still stupid. If people got 2 days worth of food on them or something like that, you're a moron. And you think, well, I got to go buy food with cash. So you don't know what they're doing there. Well, you know what? Go buy it with your damn credit card anyway. And it's better off than not having this stuff. You know what I mean? Then you got it physically. Just because you bought some food doesn't mean you freaking you're against the deep state or something. Whatever. To tell you the truth, if you voted for Trump or if you voted for Hillary, or you voted for Bernie, you're all for the deep state no matter what. They got it rigged, man. And but don't, I know it's better to buy everything cash but you know what? Whatever. I mean, what are you gonna do about it, man? I mean, I'm gonna tell you this: it's better to buy the food with your credit card than not buy the food. Period. Better to do that. I mean, sometimes I'm wondering, like, what the hell is this guy saying exactly? Because if you don't do nothing, you're definitely screwed that way, for sure. So, I bought stuff with credit cards, too, because you get points on your MasterCard. For every so many thousands you spend, you get $50 back. Right? Anyway. Whatever. That's all I got to say about this. Everything he's saying is basically right. But I got suspicions. And the fact that he revised that number down from the 9 to 12 to 15 million patriots going underground to they only need to take 500,000 now. And he was listening to what I was saying. That's obvious. Because I said, they would notice, a million van trips, where the hell they're going, for one. And you wouldn't even need 500,000. Crap, you wouldn't even need 50,000. The leadership? I mean, it's basically, you know what? That's no different what they did in Poland. I think the communists did to Poland, or the Germans did to Poland, or whatever. I forgot who did what. They killed all the intelligentsia, so people would not, have the means to rebuild. Oh, yeah, I should mention this. If you really look at why mankind has progressed so much, I'm going to give you this little freaking tidbit here again. It mainly is from the Caucasian race. I know that Asians on average are smarter than us, but the Caucasians produce more geniuses. Now, we got an average IQ of 100 or 103 in some areas like Italy or Norway or something, but the IQ spread is wider. So in other words, you got real dumb ones balancing out with people that are 140, 150 IQ or more. It's those 140, 150 IQ people that are really the ones that build everything and invented everything. But it's also those 150, 150 IQ plus people that have also been the jackasses that are trying to control the world. So you got good and bad within the if they got a lot of money, pretty much guaranteed they're crap. I mean, that includes Susan Wojcicki, that includes Donald Trump. Anybody's got a lot of money, they're pretty much crap. People in Hollywood got a lot of money, pretty much crap. Pretty much. If they don't have a lot of money and they're real smart and they're doing a lot of inventions and they're doing a lot of good things and they're giving you good advice, like my IQ supposedly is 130. I had it measured when I was 17 years old and once when I was 27. That's not like, it's pretty high. It's pretty high. Got a lot of common sense, but the thing is, they want to knock out that real smart group, because the real smart group is going to be able to lead and alert everybody else at what's going on. So when he's even talking, I know he revised his number to 500,000 because I said that's ridiculous with that, because I think he was listening to me, and you probably wouldn't even need to be 50,000. It could be 5,000 leaders. That's all they would need to knock out. So that's plausible. Have the drone come and pick them up. But then they would know they're missing. But the thing is, you go after the very smart people first. That's what they did against the Polish.